big tech industries out in San Francisco. People who have been engaged into a cult, completely separated from family to an extent, I believe, mentally. And in a situation, in a surprising turn of events, almost resembles something similar to what I read about, in relation to Charles Manson. To understand this cult, you have to look at their leadership, and that leader is Ziz. Now, this is a actual cult post written on a platform known as Void Goddess, our sacred lady of the winding fractal. To give you an idea of who Jack is, a quick background is written by them. So in 2012, as I first start reading up on EA and X-Risk, and starting to donate to Miri after I had first decided to side with Team Human, not Team Negative Utilitarian, which I saw in some ways as more aligned with Team Human, I respond to a public invitation to discuss how to make outcomes to the Singleton better from Anna Salomon. I asked her whether I should try to alter course and do research, or continue a fork of my pre-existing life plans. Earn to give as a computer engineer, but retrain and try to do research directly instead. And the time I was planning to go to grad school and had an irrational attachment to the idea, she sort of compromised and said, actually, I should go to grad school, find a startup co-founder, drop out, and earn to give via startups instead. Yeah, this person really wasn't interested in education. They decided to apply the cheat code right here. So yeah, you get kind of an idea of who Ziz is, ladies and gentlemen. They're a computer engineer who wanted to basically start up a company, cash out a bunch of money that way, but as you can imagine, there wasn't enough follow through there. When looking into the actual philosophy that Ziz has dug into, you can see mentions of, things like the Sith. For anybody that has no idea about what the Sith is, welcome to the world of Star Wars, which is exactly the kind of fiction we're digging into to base all of our life work off of. The Sith do what they want deep down. They remove all obstructions to that and express their true values. All obstruction is what is within flowing to without. If you have a certain nature, this will straight turn you evil. That is a feature, not a bug. For whatever would turn every last person good is a thing that comes from outside people. For those who true volition is evil, the adoption of such is a practice, is a dirty trick that subverts and converts them. It serves a healthy mind for its immune system to fight against, contain, weaken, sandbox, meter the willpower of, that which comes from the outside. And of course, they then get into the whole way of the Jedi. But yeah, you can understand just by reading this blog the kind of insane shit that I've had to basically jump into to understand the Zizian cult. Now, much like the Zizians and their technological background, I also too use technology, and I found that, in fact, Ziz was also not just a talented cult leader, it seems, but also somebody that had a knack for making video games. For instance, a puzzle Metroidvania game for Mac, Linux, and Windows, known as Dicethesium. And of course, the more you go down into it, it almost resembles a game known as Catherine. If you don't know it, it's an Atlas puzzle game. Far better than this dog shit. But of course, you go down in over here, and they've even got whole video gameplay for it. So yeah, it actually is a game that they were working on. But of course, did Ziz actually finish this game? Doesn't entirely seem so. It seems like this is where the game sort of plateaued in the year 2015, and they had much pressing concerns. So at this moment in time, it seems like Ziz has decided not to necessarily jump in and make a startup using their computer science degrees or their master education, or at least what they were going for, or follow through on their game. They decided at this point that the best, option was to actually go near, ladies and gentlemen, the Bay Area of San Francisco, where Silicon Valley is located and most of America's tech sector. Now, Jack Lasoda, or Ziz, in November 13, 2019, on their actual blog, The Rationalist Fleet, decided to make this entire long post detailing their time basically going into the Bay Area Silicon Valley tech industry, and of course, at one point, building an entire residence on a boat, ladies and gentlemen. Now, at this moment in time, Lasoda started ingratiating themselves, not in actually working and succeeding in the Bay Area, but actually decided to jump down into the rationalist movement. Now, the rationalist movement, for anybody that doesn't know, there's, websites like lesswrong.com, which kind of touch upon the rationalist movement. But for a quick idea, it's basically focused around things like rational thinking in the world of the tech industry. So basically, it's using reason and evidence to actually make things like, decisions in life, which doesn't sound really wrong or anything. anything. Like, obviously, everybody should be using evidence and reasoning to make like proper decisions. I don't even think there needs to be a movement or an organization that you have to be a part of to just have basic human cohesion. But to understand the Zizian cult, which is basically a very fringe offshoot of this entire movement, basically started adopting things from, extreme veganism and basically getting this anarchist ideology, and eventually figuring out things like timeless decision theories and whatnot. Basically, the entire community of rationalists wanted to distance themselves because they found these people to be completely fucking unhinged. Okay, so enter the Rat Fleet, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this video uploaded a few years ago several years ago, from Alaska to Washington, was a video that showcased the Caleb, a World War II era vessel that was eventually going to be turned into a residence. Since, yes, living in San Francisco, and even if you wanted to Airbnb buy the cheapest options you can, it's still quite expensive. Prohibitively so. Now, obviously, Jack and a friend of theirs, Danielson, ended up living on a small sailboat from around Berkeley Marina, where they couldn't even figure out how to, again, pay those docking fees properly, right? They didn't even have any money in that situation. Money was effectively being burned, and really nobody was saving the world. And tensions actually grew up in this situation when Lesota had realized in her blog, or their blog or whatever, that Danielson may not be somebody that they could entirely resolve to. They talk to themselves all the time, had ADHD and autism, which I guess grew the rift between them, and while throughout their process they were finding other people to live on these sailboats with, eventually other sailboats was purchased, like the Black Signet for $600, and eventually this all became the Rat Fleet. Point is, ultimately, at the end of all this, these ships were later abandoned, and with lawsuits starting from the San Mateo County to Danielson and the various owners, it ended up costing around $100,000 to get these eyesores out of the harbor and return some beauty to the actual landscape. So of course, the cult here decided maybe living on boats wasn't the option. They moved inland, they moved to recreational vehicles, and that's when Curtis Lind unfortunately got involved into the story as a landowner that, decided to let these people rent. But wait, before we go to land, we have to talk about Jack's death. Apparently, Jack had an obituary posted. Apparently, Jack fell over the side of their boat, the Black Signet, and actually fell to their death. How do we know this is apparently a thing? Well, let's read their obituary. And of course, this was from September 7, 2022, published on the Daily News Miner. Jack Lesota left our lives, but not our hearts, on August 19th after a boating accident. Loving adventure, family and friends, music, blueberries, biking, computer games, and animals. You are missed. So there's like whole comments over here too, right? Like, Jack, you're one of the age's visionary philosophers. Now, a few months after all this, it seemed that, our friend came back from the dead and ended up actually joining their polycule in Vallejo, California, when they started living on land in RVs. And effectively at this moment in time, Mr. Lind, who was our landowner from earlier, who unfortunately had lost their life in a mysterious quote-unquote accident or murder regarding or related to what the police believe with this cult, they were squatting, and I believe 2 days before the eviction, they had actually started attacking Mr. Lind. And while it started off with attacks, it unfortunately ended in someone's demise. Now, this is where, again, a few people have been calling out this cult for what it actually is. Now, beyond all of this, there were situations where these people were protesting, and they got the attention of law enforcement agencies. And when you look closer at them, they obviously, were a completely wild cult enamored by so much pop culture. I mean, the Star Wars stuff I talked about earlier in this video was no joke. There was a moment where literally the police had actually encountered these people believing they were shooters when they were dressed up like hooded figures resembling Emperor Palpatine or the Sith Empire from Star Wars. I mean, you really can't make this shit up. These people absolutely were enamored by pop culture, by veganism, by rationality, so to speak, when they were displaying the most irrational traits possible. Now, there wasn't a lot of people talking about this just around the internet. I did see a couple of posts on Poll, which is obviously 4chan's politically incorrect board. And of course, over here, the actual sentiment was just as much as what I had. The Zizian shit is bananas. And of course, when people were looking at Lesota, obviously the general consensus was this person definitely puts the lotion on the skin. But of course, this led me to an actual Zizian.info page, which shed more light on the actual cult and their really fucked up methods of, being the next New Age Charlie Manson-esque cult. Now, the Zizians page by Apollo Mojave actually focuses entirely here. So the introduction of this works like this. Attendants of the 2019 CFAR alumni reunion were shocked to arrive at Camp Meeker only to be turned away by the police. The venue was occupied by 5 masked protesters in black robes. Surrounding them were several police cruisers, SWAT, and a helicopter, and the figures who were reportedly there to protest had made themselves seem too sinister. So yeah, again, these guys made themselves look like actual potential shooters, and obviously the cops were going to respond in an appropriate manner. So Ziz, the central character in the story, writes a blog, sinceriously.fyi, which is what I showed you earlier in the beginning of the video. Sinceriously started out as a self-improvement column giving advice on motivation and habits. Over time, it became a platform for Ziz to discuss ethical and social theories. Before the Camp Meeker protest, Ziz was known for her Rationalist Fleet project. Rationalist Fleet was supposed to be a way to avoid paying high Bay Area rents by living on boats. The idea was that if you could extract people from paying rent, they could spend the time studying and still get access to the Bay Area network. As she tells it on Rationalist Fleet, did not go well. Having moved to the Bay Area so they could work on AI risk, the dysfunction of the Bay wore them down. Her posts became progressively more bitter over time, until the latest ones accused CFAR and Miri of sexual and financial crimes. So what is the purpose of this entire expose document? Well, apparently it's basically to count that there are 9 folks in the orbit still who endorse the ideas and keep mutual friendships, and the purpose of this document is to warn you not to join them. Ziz is a master manipulator, extremely skilled at selling people on nonsense ideas about decision theories and ethics that defy not just the rules of rationality, but basic common sense. Ziz is interested in AI risk researchers and approaches them under the guise of providing mental tech for people to build a singleton based on altruism. So again, to go down into here, some of the philosophies earlier on we talked about a little bit was functional decision theory. So the theoretical basis for the Zizian social conduct is functional decision theory, is designed as an answer to Newcomb-like problems where the actions of others are conditional on which decision theory an agent uses. In normal English, it's about situations where the environment will change depending on who you are. The classic example is a choice between 2 boxes full of money. The first box has as much money in it, but only if you're a sort of person who will take that box and leave the other behind. Functional decision theory says the solution to the problem is to choose a strategy which responds to the situation by only taking the first box. So in Zizian thought, this concept is expanded to justify behavior that would make a sovereign citizen blush. Zizians do not think it is ever valid to surrender. The reasoning goes that if someone is trying to extract a surrender from you, giving in is choosing a strategy that gets coerced into surrender. If you fight bitterly, you prevent the coercion in the first place by making it too costly to fight you. Or in some cases, it really seems like allegedly some people who are tied to this will lead people to actual death. Killing them will absolutely prevent any form of surrendering or any form of ownership over you. So here they go into talking about how Ziz's mind kind of works too. Ziz believes there are 2 kinds of core, good and non-good. Non-good cores are the most common, 95% of the population. A non-good core is one that only grants full agency when dealing with issues of self-survival and protecting offspring. That is enforced by a filter that only unlocks full agency when it detects those objects in a situation. Sometimes this filter breaks, producing a good core. Because people have 2 cores, there are 3 basic alignments: non-good, single good, and double good. Single good is 5% of the population, having 1 broken core which allows limited altruistic agency. Ziz seems to believe the probability of cores breaking its independent. That means the double good alignment only occurs in 1/4 of 1% of people. Look, I know at some point you're probably walking into this going, what the fuck is going on? And if you're actually responding that way, it's because we're looking at crazy cult indoctrination. So Zizians believe normal ideas about morality are mostly obfuscated nonsense, which makes sense. He says if humanity is honest with itself, it will eventually adopt uncompromising veganism. Zizian thinks arguments which don't acknowledge this are not about morality at all. They're about local struggles for power delaying the removal of an unjust status quo. This is a lot of the reason why they're so unhappy with Miri and CFAR. To them, their organizations waste their time on fake philosophy problems. In trying to figure out human values, they're not fighting philosophical difficulties, but rather their own cowardice and refusal to update on their poor moral practice. In the mind of a Zizian, liberalism means the same thing as it does for a communist or Nazi, an opportunity for decadence, vice, and corruption. Because we already know the correct moral policy is a ruthlessly enforced altruism towards all or almost all living creatures. So then they start to talk about like Rocco's Basilisk, and here you can actually see like an idea of like their Discord groups where they're talking about this shit. So with the user known as Ratsby, Ziz is basically talking about, if I get the singleton, there will be retroactive justice. Fucking Nuremberg trials. It's just better timelessly. Rocco's Basilisk, is that you? No. Rocco says, I will torture you if you don't contribute. That is not justice. What is justice as a concept? I read your post, but really couldn't process it. It's a self-modifying meta-concept that optimizes timelessly for good. Timelessly, the correct punishment is the minimum that would convince the person not to do it. And the singleton can dole out rewards as well. The only crime I'd consider worthy of hell is unironically caving to the dark god's own would-be self-fulfilling religions, feeding the world to them to save yourself from hell. What's a dark god? Rocco's Basilisk says, support God because he will torture you otherwise. Which god? Rocco picked a shelling point. Cave to power. That's a dark god. Yeah? What no job will do to a motherfucker, let me tell you. Now, at this moment in time, they talk about actual cult tactics. So some of the cult tactics used are unhemispheric sleep. One of the tactics Ziz uses to manipulate people is unhemispheric sleep. UHS for short, unhemispheric sleep, is a form of sleep where only one half of the brain rests at a time. Normally, it is not possible for human beings to sleep with only one hemisphere. However, a weak form of UHS can be achieved by stimulating one half of the body and resting the other. Like hypnosis or fasting, this is a vulnerable psychological state for a person. Entering UHS requires a sleeper to be exhausted. It also has disorienting effects, so they are not quite themselves. The Zizian exploits this state to convince the unwary that they are actually two people. Ziz believes themselves to be double good, and almost without exception tells people she is recruiting that they are single good. So yeah, basically I assume half your body is sleeping, you're just like tingling the other side and letting the other side sleep. That's almost like a fucking weird stroke, to be honest with you. But of course, to go down over here, they give you an idea on how to perform on hemispheric sleep. But then they talk about things like the Maya Pasek. According to someone familiar with the matter, Ziz played a large role in the death of Maya Pasek, also known as Squirrel in Hell. Maya tried UHS as a way to gain awareness of her twin personhood, which Ziz calls debucketing. We're told these sessions were done with Ziz and involved telling Maya to focus on the suicidal impulses while in a disoriented state. Ziz briefly mentions this in her post, Good Group in Pasek's Doom, but skips over the details for obvious reasons. Supposedly, Maya began using UHS as an alternative to real sleep, and if you paid attention in the previous section, you know that that's a bad idea. Then, of course, what's the most common type of cult tactic is cutting off support networks. Ziz will tell people they're in the process of indoctrinating to get away from trusted family, friends, and lovers. Jay gives an example of this on her blog with the comment. Now, this blog unfortunately doesn't exist, but this comment reads, it's still noteworthy that Ziz tried to break up a happy marriage, so like someone could spend less time being with a partner and more time trying to save the world. Doing that is a good way to get people to stop satisfying their values and in turn become less effective. And of course, then obviously jargon and loaded language. Ziz's enemies are known as vampires. So I guess Camden Gerard Davis actually is Ziz's. We might actually have like a Clash of the Titans here. The massive unenlightened humanity, zombies, nice folks who don't see things her way, single good, and the construction of good is particularly jarring. And of course, then it's the creation of a new identity. So the idea that every human being is actually two people is not just recognized as an abstract fact. Zizians encourage the adoption of a new identity alongside these lines. So the left hemisphere, right hemisphere to the brain, the Zalus and the Yanrei respectively, they encourage new members to make significant and uncharacteristic lifestyle changes. So, for instance, Ziz wears dark robes all the time, a preference which explains ill-fated decisions again with that early protest. But here's where they talk about, the people who were arrested in this protest were apparently all transgender women. So basically, it's not necessarily a coincidence to target transgender people. The general idea is, according to this post, is they're usually financially vulnerable, which makes sense. There's not a lot of money in the trans community to go around. Obviously, if you look at situations in regards to Keffels and plenty of the other individuals in this case, it's often a community that usually gets shunned from their families, and then of course they really don't have any money to go with. So obviously, for these people, they literally may be estranged from family, friends, they may lack stable housing, and sometimes they may not have access to social services. Then, of course, creating that new identity. During transition, people change their name, and that creates an opportunity for Ziz to jump in and basically give their new identity more of a cult-like peppering on top of it. So ultimately, what is known at the present is quite alarming. Ziz preaches a doctrine of radical high-tech veganism that promotes punishing your ideological enemies, not good, because that obviously bleeds into possible real-world violence, as we've seen in this situation, allegedly. And of course, she rejects the idea of niceness, community, and civilization. And most importantly, they use unethical tactics to onboard new members. So if you have somebody that is being groomed by someone like this on Discord or any social media,
let's move out.
Bomb. Bomb ran. No, shit.
Counter-terrorists, where you go? They're gonna wish they were never born. Grenade out. Throwing a grenade. Throwing flashbang.
Alright, one Xbox, he's pushing cat, and one top mid.
Last cat.
One more cat.
Are they hacking? I think they're hacking.
Ahiha huhuha?
Are they hacking? They are hacking, I think. Defusing. Are you hacking, Parados?
Yes.
Clear, lads. Grenade out.
One mid. He's cat.
Flashbang. Incendiary.
Oh. Cat.
Where is bomb?
Cat.
Thank you.
Fuck. Ramp in sight. Ramplet.
Terrorists win.
What's your rank, Nagato?
I'm shit.
Okay.
9,999.
Grenade out.
One suicide. Top mid one. One up cut.
Flashbang.
Deploying flashbang.
Ah, he's deemed.
One long, guys.
What?
Last guy's one shot.
Counter-terrorists win. Now we're getting stuck right into them.
Good game, guys. Good game.
Gear up. We aren't going on a windy walk here. Grenade. Grenade out. Throwing a grenade.
Out. East. Nah, just flashing.
Throwing fire. Throwing flashbang. Flashbang. Deploying flashbang.
He's behind the Xbox.
Throwing smoke. Counter-terrorists win.
Alright.
We're on.
One suicide.
Laying down smoke. Grenade. Throwing fire.
Throwing fire.
Incendiary out.
Throwing smoke. a bomb here.
On your left. Oh, never mind.
Counter-terrorists win. Stuff. Are we rushing in, or are we going sneaky beaky like? Throwing fire.
Throwing flashbang. Throwing flashbang.
Grenade out.
Throwing smoke.
Incendiary out.
Fire in the hole. One long.
Yo, let me flash.
Deploying
They're
flashbang.
pushing.
Throwing fire. Smoke. Flashbang. Throwing a grenade. Bomb has been planted. Grenade out. Throwing flashbang.
I don't know where to go.
Using the bomb.
It's cat, not CT.
Nice.
Counter-terrorist.
Oh yeah.
Let's show them who we are.
What?
Throwing smoke.
One long, one long, one long. Help long.
Grenade out.
Got kill long.
Incendiary. Bomb has been planted. Terrorists
The
win.
running gun goes crazy. No, I don't think so.
Mmm.
Let's make this right as rain.
Pushing cat.
One car. And cross.
Ramp.
Incendiary. Bomb has been planted.
One city.
Smoke Xbox. One suicide.
Right on. We're on. Smoke. Grenade.
No, they're pushing me along.
Lay down smoke.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. There's no stopping us. Throwing fire. Grenade out.
Long, maybe.
Throwing a grenade.
At least one upper.
Throwing fire. Throwing a grenade.
Derby, derby.
Muna.
They know you're there. They hear you. They don't. They're stupid.
Terrorists win.
We must work together.
Panic too much. Panic boy. Let's go, baby.
Hey, Chili, are you acting?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No. Affirmative.
See.
Affirmative. Affirmative. No. Yes. Of course. Yes. Yeah.
2 CT.
Close range.
Counter-terrorists win.
Guys, I tell you, we kill them. Throwing flashbang. Throwing a flashbang.
Op in mid.
I'm throwing a flashbang. Grenade!
One cat.
Yo, we have B by the way, but yeah.
Cat.
One's still CT.
CT and cat.
Alright.
Planted.
Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win.
Real man. We will make them regret today. Flashbang.
Yo, flasher.
There's at least two long.
I'm throwing a flashbang.
CT!
I'll plant the bomb.
Bomb has been planted.
Ramp.
Terrorists win.
Run, little girls, run!
He's outside long. Fuck.
Counter-terrorists win.
Pushing long.
Or his car.
Why? He has to be lit. One, I think one is long. Watch pit.
Got.
Use bomb blue.
Terrorists win.
GG.
Why?
o'clock, 6 o'clock till 2 a.m. So I guess from the clues that we've been getting, we're dealing with more of an addict homeless situation and like sketchy characters on the fringes. What percent of people in this game would you say are homeless versus professional?
About 70% are homeless, to be honest with you.
How long have you been doing this for?
I'm probably going on like 3 or 4 years now.
And how many missions over those 3 or 4 years?
Quite a bit. Probably too many to count, to be honest. It's we just drive around, you know, that's kind of what we do around here is we just drive around, and then if we see a train stop, we'll call everybody and be like, hey, yo, this is where we're at.
What are some of the things you have to be aware of in doing a mission? Like, how do you plan this out?
Honestly, there's not really much planning behind it. It's you see it, you go, you know, and jump on it right away because it's you kind of on time limit. You know, it's how long is it gonna take for this person to take off, or you know, when are the cops gonna show up?
Is security getting heavier and heavier now that this is becoming more of a common thing?
I would say so, yeah. They've started parking trucks and security guards around where the trains stop and things like that. Back in the day, you know, you wouldn't have none of that. You just be there and open shit up, and you'll be there for a cool like 2-3 hours or something like that, you know.
Now, sometimes you guys stop the trains.
Yeah, go grab a car or whatever anywhere, pull it up on the tracks. You kind of like Heisinger it on top of the tracks, you know. Most of the time you want to put like the hazards or something on so the train will see it farther back.
How much money can you stand to make on a mission?
I've made about $5 grand.
Not knowing when a train might roll through, we gave E-Money a GoPro and told him to record a mission so we could see how it all goes down. Here's what he captured.
I'm gonna see if I can see where with a lot would pop it because I don't have the full colors on it.
How do you feel while doing this?
A lot of adrenaline, just pumping, you know, it's a crazy feeling. I love it. That's kind of why I do it, you know, it's exciting and just fun to do.
We separated from E-Money and set out on our own to patrol the tracks. Our goal was to be in position and near the action if a train robbery was going to happen that night. Here's what went down. At least 2 different crews are doing their inventory right now, seeing what's on the inside, and from what we understand, there's serious consequences for this now in California. California is not as light criminally as they used to be, so we're kind of just waiting to see what they find and seeing what our next step is.
I'm on my way.
What are you looking for in the trains? What are you hoping to find on the trains?
Anything worth profit. I mean, I've found $100 worth of cards, you know, like little we call them player cards and stuff like that. 2 or 3 people inside, and we just throw them out. Just start throwing them like this. People on the ground will grab them and just throw them in the truck. After that, we'll go to a different location.
So there's an organized team.
Oh yeah, it could be anywhere from like 3 to you know 6 people.
What's going on? They're hitting it? By the truck? What the f is going on? He said they're hitting it over here. Do I move? You walking? So we were catching the action. No. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay, so going on right behind us right now is, that's law enforcement right there. Hey, the cops are right there. Hey, the sheriff's right there. Hey. What the f?
Holy shit, we should go.
Should we get back in the car?
Yeah, go.
Miguel,
Miguel.
let's get back in the car. What the f was that, dude? Holy shit! So you might be wondering why we were running back to the car. Keep in mind, we had just seen the sheriff, and what we weren't sure of in that moment was what were the legal ramifications even being near a train robbery. As you can imagine, robbing a train is a big federal crime. Under the U.S. Code's Title 18, Section 1991, anyone who assaults, robs, or attempts to rob a train can face serious prison time, up to 20 years. It's considered an act of theft on interstate commerce, which of course makes it the business of the feds. He basically is like, are you guys the cops? We said no. Then he starts opening it up and just going ham. Then a sheriff drives by, and then it just lurches. Okay, so obviously, there is no place for stealing. I'm not advocating it. But the adrenaline rush of just being by the action, I can see why these guys are addicted just to the thrill of the job. That was insane, wasn't it? But what if you're not robbing the train? You're like us, near it. If you are caught trespassing within a certain distance of train tracks, you could still be committing a crime. We filmed this in California, and doing some research into this, it looks like California laws make it a misdemeanor to trespass within 20 feet of the tracks. This can land you up to 1 year in county jail. Luckily, we filmed this entire episode within 21 feet or further from the tracks. So what if, someone's ordering baby formula and baby bottles and it doesn't get there on time? Like, what about the impact of it?
Agreed. The way I look at it is if you're ordering it off of Amazon or online somewhere, like, not in too much need of it. You gotta wait to, even if you get to the next day shipping, you're still waiting that time to get it, so.
I guess what stands out to me is the outright lawlessness. I think people in other countries watching this, seeing this happens in the United States, I think it would blow their minds. To think that a sheriff would drive by as you're blatantly stealing packages from a train, which is a federal offense, that he just keeps going on with his day. Where else does that happen? It's Keegan's birthday today, so happy birthday, Keegan. Write in the comments, happy birthday, Keegan. No better way to celebrate a birthday than by chasing down train thieves and 2 minutes before Googling whether it's a felony or misdemeanor.
Camp's Graphics. That looks kind of fancy. I have to look into that one. Some cream junk. Some wheelchair stuff. Kitchen stuff. What's that, wrapping paper or something? It's an interesting one. Like a cover or something. Shoes? Ooh, a nice little bag. That's about it. Didn't get too many this time, but I had to get out of there. The train started moving.
Yeah. Is that unusual for the train to start moving like that?
No, especially when they're like switching conductors like that.
So how would you rate the haul overall?
This one's one of the lower end ones. Altogether right there, probably 150, maybe.
I saw a sheriff look at someone stealing and kept driving.
Yeah, sheriffs out here, the law enforcement don't really give a shit. It seems like they're scared. They're scared of everybody out here.
If caught, what's the penalty?
I don't know. It's probably a good few years or so. If I find a big case for sure, it's federal.
So it's very spur of the moment. It went from nothing's gonna go down tonight to 2 minute notice just happened.
Yes, and that's how it goes. Whenever you get the call, you gotta hurry up and get there. 90% of it, to be honest with you.
Talking to this guy got me wondering how many stolen goods are floating around on places like Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp. I mean, how many people completely unaware are furnishing their homes, buying gifts for their kids, even getting school supplies like laptops and calculators without realizing that we too are participating in the underground economy. One of the train robbers told me like this straight up. If it's a brand new item listed at 50% of retail or less, or an item missing its original packaging, chances are it's stolen. It made me wonder what percent of goods on a site like Facebook Marketplace are lifted items. One day, when I interview Mark Zuckerberg, I will ask him for his take on this. But for now, it's wild to think that any one of us could have something in our homes that we use on a daily basis that was stolen in a train heist. Would you consider yourself to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
What's your next move?
Get rid of the boxes, honestly, and then start pricing stuff out.
Have you ever been close to getting caught?
Yeah, we had somebody, where we stopped. They were on the other side of the fence, I think got some property or something, and they said they were calling the cops, and we hear it all the time, so we push on for a little bit, and this time the cops, they showed up pretty fast, and so they show up, and we all just dip down. You gotta get low and just gone, dude.
Last night, a train robber approached us in an off-camera meeting and told us about his operation. He had stash houses, getaway drivers, and lookouts stationed in the mountains. So the next morning, we spent the day tracking the trains through the mountains, trying to see it from a train robber's point of view. Behind me is another train going towards Bakersfield. We're gonna see if we can link up with the guys that are gonna hit this train. This is some modern day rodeo shit. And at nightfall, we returned to the towns of Bakersfield and Oildale to see yet another train robbery. But first, we had to talk to the locals and see what they thought about this. Are you aware that most nights when the train stops, people just descend on the trains and just take everything they can out of it?
I know that happens, but don't know if it happens near here.
And I don't know if you saw the boxes that are on the side of the road.
No, I haven't seen them.
But what do you think about that?
I think it's horrible. They're going to catch somebody robbing a train.
Now, here's something that's going to blow your mind. We saw it last night. A sheriff drove right by as a guy was opening up the train and taking boxes, and he just kept driving by.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
Maybe he didn't see it? I mean, how could you not see it?
I mean, we get people come in here all the time who steal, and they just walk up, grab and walk out, not even care.
There's a bunch of criminals here. There is, especially in Oildale. There are. Yeah, you have to be very careful. We have cameras at my house. I mean, we take all precautions. They just stole our mailbox not long ago.
You got your mailbox?
Yeah, our community mailbox, yeah. So, that's my husband.
Hello, how you doing? Sir, I hear you're missing a mailbox.
Yes, sir, I am. And yeah, there's a lot of thieving going on around these neighborhoods.
Are you aware that the trains get hit regularly?
Yeah, I heard all about that, yeah.
What do you think about it?
I think it's a bunch of bull. Yeah, that's not even right. They should have more security on those trains than what they do. Yeah, I don't understand how they can get in those trains so easy and take all the stuff off of them without anybody noticing.
No, folks, this is romance right here. Sir, what did you just do? You handed her what?
Ruffles, potato chips.
And it's not even Valentine's Day, huh?
We love each other, bud.
Yeah, we do.
We've been married 20 years, bud.
Congratulations. All right, guys, stay safe. Have a good night. So we have a helicopter circling. It was about the same time last night with is it a helicopter?
That's 100% a helicopter. No plane moves like that.
And he just circled the train area, huh?
Yeah. Their center of rotation is 100% around the...
Holy shit, it's shining right at him.
Yeah.
So here we go. Here's some of the fragments of what remains from last night. They obviously cleared it out. They have some sort of system. Whole Foods, Amazon returns. So yeah, Amazon lost out last night. So now our job for the rest of the night is, one, talk to the guys that have their hands in this and get more of the story from them. Two, see if there's another mission, which chances are there will be. It just is, will we be in the right place at the right time when it goes down? There's way other ways I would rather steal. If I had to get into the business of stealing, I feel like this is one of the harder ones to make money in. So we're going to a spot that is involved in the package smuggling, and the local's going to tell us about it. What are we looking at here?
So right here they use this as like their gateway to get back and forth to the tracks. There's a old pipe yard that the fence is ripped open on it, obviously.
So they go through here, another hole,
That's where actually
tracks.
you can see where the train's at right there.
So this is a popular place in the city where the train gets hit.
This whole road, there's like 10 sets of tracks that run across there. That's probably where that train is right there. Is probably the second or third row of tracks.
Why do you think this doesn't get fixed?
Because it's not the train's property, or the train federal property. It's someone else's property. They come in yellow totes, and a lot of the stuff does. It comes in like those trains right there. They're just stacked in yellow totes of like, I would say like all kinds of shit, 99-cent store type stuff.
So how many main spots throughout the city would you say get hit?
Anywhere along the tracks, really.
The last spot we were at, helicopter was circling. You think that's preventative on the police's part?
Yeah, it helps because the guys know that the helicopter's got the flare, so they can see them even if they don't have the light on. that hits. You gotta like penalize these people for this shit. You gotta like actually go to jail instead of breaking and stealing shit and you're going to jail and getting let out the next day. And then they just let them stack up their cases and they keep getting busted, and then eventually, yeah, they throw them in jail, but you know, do long enough and people aren't gonna learn and nobody wants to work, they want everything easy. It's all fun and games until it happens to you, right?
So just another example of sloppy feeding. People want to have sympathy, and I get it. Like if someone's down on their luck and they fall back on rent, that's one thing. But when you just want to turn the entire city into your own trash can, that's where I draw the line. Would you say you have any economic stressors in your life?
Well, my motto is everything's a hustle since 19 years I was born.
To get into some of these things, like did it come from economic struggle where like, hey, I gotta pay a bill, so I'm gonna try something new? Or like, how did you even get into this world?
Dad didn't do some of the smarter stuff. He did a lot of dumb shit. I guess I kind of fell on that same path.
So is it more the thrill or the economics of it?
A little bit of both.
We got connected to a local named Tweak. He was going to be going on a train job later that night, so I asked him about how he evades law enforcement and how he prepares for a mission. Here's what he said. You just got out of jail? What was that?
It was like 2 days ago.
And what'd you get hit for?
I just got my probation once and shit. I've been running on doing dumb shit all the time. Not going to court, just going to court shit.
So how often do you do the train business?
Yeah, I don't really do it too much anymore like I was. Just after I understand, you know, the federal marshals out there, they're cracking down on it pretty big.
Federal marshals out there?
They've been seen out there. I've seen personally my own two eyes, federal marshals out there going and doing sweeps out there. They're picking up people. You know, they were doing three cars linked in a row at a time with the pepper ball guns and shit in the cars, lighting down next to the train. So when the train stops, they're driving up and down it the whole time as it stops, patrolling it. So, and you can juggle further from railroad tracks, skip to the tracks or the little C trains that just got, of course. But
what do you got?
That's the standard.
Do you actually use that?
Yeah, that's the best way to have it. Just me, I won't get caught with it. I'm gonna toss it out before they catch up to me.
It's just amazing what drugs will make someone do, and it just feels, I don't want to say like a waste, but like all this stolen stuff is just going to a cycle that gets deeper and deeper. Like, it's not like, oh, if I have enough trains, then I'll be able to move on to something else. It doesn't have the same glamour as the outlaw cowboys back in the day hitting trains. This will be our last night out in the trains. We'll see what we run into and we'll see what we see. As we walked up to the scene, we realized that the trains had just been hit right before we got there. So we got to approach the crews on the ground to see what the next step in their business process was. In the background right now, there's a guy just going through boxes. And again, as we came here, look at that, that's a sheriff right there. I don't know how obvious that is from the road. Seen pretty heavy police activity through here, and right in the back there's a crew going through fresh boxes. So I don't know if there's another train coming or if we just kind of missed it and we're seeing the aftermath. But either way, it's kind of like piranhas on a fresh piece of meat. So you guys doing? Is it a good haul? These yellow bags are from the train? Yeah. You were the guy we saw 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Did you get hurt? Because the train like lurched.
No, I always jump off like that, man.
We've seen like 2 or 3 sheriffs drive by. They just don't give a shit, do they?
The man, if it would have been like a bunch of fucking, they would probably call me up, but...
You may hear me mention a few times expressing shock that the sheriffs did nothing but just drove by. But there may be an explanation for this. One of the train robbers told me that because the tracks are federal jurisdiction, the local PD has a tough time building cases that stick on these ones. Not sure if that is all true, but more on that later. I have an arrest story coming for you guys in just a couple minutes. Would you guys say this is every night?
Yep. What's up, man? Shit off the Bakersfield, east side of Bakersfield, you know what I mean? That's where I'm from. Trying to get $1 out of 15 cents. Yeah, shit, man. We just trying to eat. pick me up right here by the bridge. I already got everything packed up, ready to go. Alright, dude. Yeah, that's the ride, man. You gotta get the ride ready to go so you can get up out of here. Just gonna make this money now, man. Probably won't happen till the morning, but shit, it's gonna happen. And we eat instead for dinner.
What got you into this business?
My boy right there. My boy, he a beast at this, but my buddy outside the mountain, he got rolled up off by Pinkerton. They arrested him, he found his truck and everything.
So Pinkerton's really serious.
Oh yeah, Pinkerton is the ones that they'll get you. Pinkerton is the one that they're the OGs, you know what I mean?
Let's bring you up to speed on the infamous Pinkerton Detective Agency. This 170-year-old firm has been cracking down on criminal plots since the 1850s. Their claims to fame include foiling an early assassination attempt on Abraham Lincoln, making outlaw Butch Cassidy and his guys flee to South America to avoid being caught by them, and that in the 1890s, with over 32,000 guys on staff, they boasted more manpower than the entire U.S. Army. So what kind of job satisfaction do you have with this? Do you feel like you're caught in a cycle?
Now, yeah. Because, I mean, if I stop, then I don't eat. My family doesn't eat, so I really can't stop it, you know what I mean? You can make a good payday, you can make a real good payday, but, I mean, unless you're willing to shut down shop and stop doing what you're doing, then it's going to keep going, be a cycle, keep on going. People are going to hear about it, you're going to get rid of people out here. But, I mean, you tend to weed out the people that are built for it, the people that aren't. You know what I mean? Like, it's a waiting game. It's a hit and a miss. You never know when you're gonna hit. But when you do hit, you hit pretty fast. You're good.
What can you stand to make in this situation?
I've made up to
We are out of here. Right, lads. We're on.
These are both banana.
Terrorists win. Bomb has been planted.
My bad.
Grenade out. Throwing fire. Throwing fire. Grenade out. Deploying flashbang. Throwing a grenade. Flashbang. Need help. I need help. Need backup.
Fuck.
Counter-terrorists win.
No scope me.
These fellas have been a real waking up this morning. Grenade.
Two ran.
Throwing fire. Terrorists win. Bomb has been planted. Need support. For Queen and Country, man. Need support now. Throwing flashbang. Grenade. Smoke.
B.
Throwing flashbang. Counter-terrorists win. We're really laying into them.
here, right? Oh, mid. Two bottom mid. Alt mid.
I'm planting the bomb.
easily fucking a couple $100. It just all depends on what you find.
Was there an event in your life, like a financial stressor that said, this is what I'm gonna do?
My old lady broke her neck in a car accident. She severed her C4 all the way down to C7. She was paralyzed, she couldn't walk. I lost my job. I had to take her to the doctors. And all her doctor's visits, we had to teach her how to walk again.
What kind of job were you working before?
I had a great job. I was working agriculture. I had a company truck. I was making about $75K a year. I had a really good job.
You quit that to do this? Because you make more doing that.
I mean, now I built a record for myself. I put in a record, so it's going to be a little bit harder to find a good job with. And, I mean, once you get into it, it's it. You know what I mean? It's kind of, that's why I tell people that do it or want to try to do it, it's just remain smart, don't be caught.
There's a lot of youth out there that are feeling really reckless and thinking, hey, I can just get quick shit, and they don't have a record yet. What would you tell them?
It's not worth it. You're gonna get yourself on federal charges. You know what I mean? Once you get federal charges, you're doing 85% of your time. You're not gonna do no half time. There is no fucking, good behavior. You're gonna go to the feds and you're sitting down with some big boys. I don't know if you noticed there was a plane flying around for the past 7 nights. I've been watching it. It's on a routine. It's on a route. Circles around and circles around, and I mean they have heat sensors, they have night vision, they follow you. They'll follow you back to your home, they'll follow you back to wherever you're going. That's why I say they'll build a case on you.
Sure enough, this guy here who I'll call C got arrested exactly in the manner that he described. He recently got out of jail and called me to tell me that the same week we had met him, he completed a train mission and went to his safe house where he was then tracked down by a police helicopter and swarmed by 12 sheriff's vehicles. He was arrested at gunpoint, brought to jail, and was told that he was facing 3 years of federal time. However, he said that due to what seems to be a technicality of jurisdiction, apparently the local police had to drop his case, which if this is true, would explain why the sheriffs would just drive past and ignore the train thieves. If anyone watching this episode is in law enforcement or is a lawyer, please tell me if this local police not having jurisdiction holds any water.
You got time, no problem.
I guess most crime seems to be indicative of someone being stuck in a cycle, and anytime you're stuck, you're not free. So it's just sad. Like, even though they're doing bad shit, like stealing someone's packages, I still feel bad for these people. I still sympathize with them in a way. I mean, this is not a life that anyone would envy. There's nothing glamorous, there's nothing cool. Because I think at the end of the day, you want to have an impact on the world that's positive. Everyone wants that. This is not something that you can rest easy doing. At least I don't think so. All right, folks, that was an inside look into the business of train robberies and theft. This was a wild ride. As always, I appreciate you joining me. I have the best job in the world, and it's only possible because you guys tune in. My final message is this: we all have choices, and you can either build a positive cycle or you can build a negative cycle. You pick where you want to go. And obviously some of us have better deck of cards at the beginning, but I really believe life is how you play the cards. So do what's going to be best for you, your family, your community. Thank you guys. See you next week.
We really hit the top level. These tracks are some of the hardest that Nadeo have ever officially published. They're straight up trial maps and took me several hundred respawns to beat the first couple of times. And yet somehow for the author medal we're expected to do it in 0. The bronze medal being at 999 should be an indicator that just finishing these maps once is an accomplishment of its own. And at first it seemed somewhat impossible, especially for 2 maps, Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy and Atfo. Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy is this high-speed transitional map with lots of jumps and flips. It looked really precise to do all in one go. But sure enough, just a few hours after it released, the player Hugo managed to do it in 0 respawns after 3 hours of playing, leaving just one map that nobody had done flawlessly, and that was Atfo. This track is different in style in that it has a lot of obstacle tricks, some of them that you might have seen on Deep Dip 2, such as the wall ride hook and the final floor 16 wall ride, being a reference to Trackmania's biggest event of this year. And seeing as though nobody had done it before, I tried to take it upon myself to be the first to beat this final platform map in 0 respawns. And this is the journey towards that goal. Enjoy. What are we doing? The new platform maps? Yes, and trying for golds. In the previous platform maps, I've gotten all the author times. and not really spending that much time on them. Here, they've upped the difficulty to such an extent that auto times are essentially pretty much like some that they're possible, but some of them could take weeks to beat. So just getting the maps done in 25 respawns or more or less would be a good accomplishment. This is by far, like this medal and the other one in this campaign, by far the hardest official author medals you can get. Like that, no question. Ah. Okay, good. Don't hit it. Yes. No, no. Okay, we're still at 0. Just need to... get enough speed for the wall. Early wood, right? Early. Okay, rip. the one-shot dream is done. Any tips for the plastic bounce, Shorty? Sometimes I get insane air on it, and sometimes it's just done. There's no method to the madness. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, guys. We made it though. I think it's one of the lowest respawn runs I've had to this part. I think I had one with 3, but then I didn't know how to do this. Now I do. So we make it. And we make it here. Okay, wall ride. Think of it as driving a wall ride. Yeah, so like if you do it like this, if you do it differently, guys, it works. But you cannot do it like Deep Blue 2. Good. Oh my god. Slow down there is crazy. Good. Okay. It's Gamba time. Looks good. No. I was 1 speed off. I saw the number 1 speed off basically. Oh. 10 speed off. Finally. That's why you gotta reach this part with a lot of HP. Good save. Into the backup here. Yeah. Bro, I'm not even doing it terribly. I'm doing it a little bit off. I eat the gear in the uphill and I don't make it. It's complete garbage. Okay, guys. 1 HP in a dream. Last checkpoint. Thank God. Get me out. Yeah, so many annoying parts in this. Like, landing here in gear 3, if you don't do this turn perfectly, you get gear 2 and then gear 3 here again and you die. Oh my god, I was tilting. And the Gamba, the 360 spin thing. Jesus. The rest I think is fine though. I'm learning the wall ride I think is fine now. I think the water trick is fine. So there's like, out of 10 tricks, I'd say 8 good ones, 7, 8 good ones. Also looks doable. You can totally own this challenge. I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm not enjoying it, so I don't want to. You try the hook cut. I don't think it's that relevant anymore. You have to somehow get up on this with wheels here, I think. Probably flip and go upside down. Isn't there... I mean, isn't this something though? Oh yeah, that is definitely something. So if you're struggling on the wall ride, you can go here. Slight diagonal, press forward. You either get to the water turtle or you get the checkpoint, I guess. I think these are the kind of things you need for Zero here though. Like this works to some degree. It's so much more convenient to say it's impossible. I'm actually annoyed it's possible. Do it virtual? Screw it, we'll give it a try. We'll give it a try. Do you think the pyramids were for power generation? No. Do you know where it stems from? In the sealed Queen's Chamber air shafts, there are 2 copper pins on like a trap door. Literally like 2 handles made of copper out of 2.2 million tons of stone. And this is like, oh, well, copper leads electricity, so guess what? We have a power generator. Are we gatekeeping theories? The stupid ones? Yes, I think we are. Like if you told me it's a landing base for aliens, am I allowed to gatekeep you? Or is that like I'm not gatekeep. I can explain why it's not. I actually find alien landing base to be more likely than power generator. I feel like I could easily get into like a damn good conspiracy and like really, you know, okay, is there any basis to this? Like the pyramids, I'm not conspiratorial about the pyramids, but I have learned a lot of, dude, there are so many wild. Do you guys want to know when I realized I was off the deep end looking at pyramid theories? I watched a 3-hour documentary where the guy's main claim in the documentary he made was that the ancient Egyptians would have made a massive, picture this, a massive magnifying glass and pointed it at stone in order to melt stone. This has to be like a huge like contraption with a curved glass so they could laser beam and melt stone and then cast it into place. While somehow he had an argument for why every stone was different. It's like, oh yeah, they wanted every stone to be different. Later in the same documentary, he claimed that the Egyptians went with their boats across the Pacific, or the Atlantic, right? Across the Atlantic to South America and built a bunch of pyramids in Mexico. So the pyramids you see in South America are also built by the Egyptians. If you say it confidently enough, it might...
What's up, guys? You.
Yo.
You guys want to do fast beat?
Yeah, I'm down. Right side.
There's 2. 3.
Linked right.
Being bombed down now. Ice. Shitless.
One's on me where I died.
Motherfucker. 64 and 4.
One right over
Connector.
Good try, good try. Not gonna buy. Good shot.
One's on top of Lynch.
giving on top turn.
One to the left. E-box dinked. Last one dinked.
Counter-terrorists win.
Sorry guys, I'm watching my friend with the Bravo cases.
On hell.
Counter-terrorists win. It is time now, my brothers.
Another E-bog.
Dinked on site.
Both weak, both weak. Dang, this is an opt-out. Bishop was...
Up an AK.
Heavy. He's going T. What a bitch.
Terrorists win.
B through that staircase.
Pop died.
Let him get the ace.
Let's move out. Throwing fire. Laying down
On top of Orange Lake.
Counter-terrorists win. Let the clear line. Let's have at the peace. Incendiary. Throwing fire. Throwing smoke.
B.
Grenade out.
They could leave.
1Z. He is off.
Terrorists win. Bomb has been planted. Flashbang. Grenade out.
I hear B. Where Long Dog? Long
Last
Dog.
one A. Some two moving on to A. You're pushing tunnel.
Incendiary out.
One's hopping on that crate on boost.
Smoke. Terrorists win.
It's all good. We got this.
Gear up. We're going in. Throwing fire. Incendiary.
that B. Let's keep going on A. Keep doing split pushes.
Incendiary out.
Not pushing B yet. Bomb down. Nice, good shit.
Let's go. Incendiary. Throwing a grenade. Throwing a grenade.
Long dog. He's boost by box.
Come on, jump, jump. Throwing fire.
Long dog.
B push.
Incendiary. Incendiary out.
At least one on A.
Laying down smoke.
Hopping B.
Oh, B. One out there.
Bomb has been planted.
Z. Fuck.
Purple, you want op?
Yeah, I'll take it. Thank you.
Remove any doubts in your head. It's us or them. Throwing fire. Grenade.
I hear long dog.
I hear B again.
Hopping up here.
Throwing smoke.
I hate underwater so much. Jesus. Get up. Okay, rare, but recovered. Okay, let's go. This is actually the best shortcut on the map. Because you can recover like that. I didn't know. Yeah, this is crazy good. Okay, still 0. Good. Okay. Please land. Too far, right? Oh, that's good. No! No. No, okay, guys, I'm gonna call it a day today. I'm gonna call it a day. I'm gonna keep trying a bit off stream, but I'm gonna call it a day. I can't stream anymore. Yeah, I'm done streaming. I'm done being on camera for today. Looking good. Please, what? Let's see if it works. No slide of that. Yes, dude. Perfect. Good. Oh, it would have been enough. Ah, okay. Go back. Yep. Good. Oh, come on, dude. Last trick. Yes. Yes. Yes, guys. Holy shit. Is that the first? Is that the first? Adfo, 0 respawns in 6 hours and 25 minutes. I won't lie, guys. On the wall right there, I was so stressed. Holy, yeah. Let's see. That could be the first. Very happy with that. Very happy with that. My god. Trackmania just made a new game mode called Weekly Shorts, where the world records are secret. Every week they upload 5 new maps, and those can be played throughout the week, and on Sundays, the leaderboards are locked forever, and the top times are revealed to the community. Sounds like a really interesting format.